Hi, I thought I'd put a little video together of how to get your internet feed from your house to whatever new room you've got in your garden or on your property. Be it a bar, a shed, a garden room, whatever it might be. I see a lot of questions on the internet asking how you can extend Wi-Fi signal into your other room. So I put a video together to help illustrate how I think the best way of getting that internet connection into your external room. Here on the first picture is just a drawing of a typical house boundaries and garden room that maybe have been put up in the back garden. So looking at the front of the house, that's where your internet feed comes into your master socket, either via copper or fibre. And then typically the master socket is located at the front of the property, and your router then should be directly connected into that master socket. Now there's a few ways you can connect the internet to your garden room. One of them is, if you're lucky enough, your Wi-Fi will be able to reach. But with all the questions that have been on the internet at the moment around how do you connect your internet to your garden room, I'm assuming that a lot of people don't have a strong enough Wi-Fi signal once they're actually in their room and trying to make use of the internet. And there are a few reasons why you will be having Wi-Fi issues, one being distance. As I mentioned earlier, typically your router is going to be at the front of your house and your garden room is going to be all the way at the back of your garden. Other reasons for poor Wi-Fi connection could be the walls blocking it. Anything that will obstruct the radio signal from where your router is will also play an effect of interrupting or interfering with your radio signal. And then another reason will be sort of electronic equipment, microwaves, bulbs, anything electronic emits some sort of radio signal that again can have an interference with your Wi-Fi signal and be a contributor to a poor Wi-Fi connection in your garden room. The best way of doing it is to run a cable from your router, a network cable from your router through to your garden room and then plug into that. So the video will go through some of the tools that were required in order to make this cable up and to terminate the cable onto a network socket, and then also to fit that network socket into a faceplate or back box. A tool in the top left hand corner which is a cable puncher. This is specifically for punching network cables onto a socket. Then you can see a little strand of the network cable. Then there is the actual network socket itself, where there's two of them, and a faceplate. And then there is a piece of tubing or trunking that you can use as extra protection for your network cable as you run it outside. If we measure the distance from the master socket to the garden room, going via an outside route, that will be eventually the length of cable that you need to make that connection. Plus, if you add a couple of meters extra, that will give you some room for sort of tidying up, burying it, any sort of bends in the cable that you want to make, things like that. So that's how much cable you need. Now typically you'll need either CAT5E or CAT6. Now for our purposes, CAT5E or CAT6 will suffice just as well. CAT6 is a little bit better performance, and if you've got a huge garden with a long distance, you may wish to go for CAT6 because that'll give you that extra bit of performance. In terms of speed though, you won't really see much of a benefit between CAT5E and CAT6 for our purposes. Then you've got the connection block, the socket at the top, and then you've got a faceplate. In this video, I'm not going to cover off how you drill a hole through your wall. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that will show you how to do that. I'm assuming that you've already got those skills to be able to get the cable outside. So looking at the cable connector, you can see there's one in the picture, which is a category 6 socket, and you can see the different colours. So you've got blue and white, solid blue, green and white, solid green, brown and white, solid brown, and orange and white and solid orange. Now those colours on the connector block correspond to the colours that are on the network cable. So as you can see, you've got your blues, your oranges, your browns and your greens, and they all slot into corresponding slots within that network block. Now before I punch them down, I like to get them sort of loosely slotted into the openings in the corresponding colours. So the browns, the blues, the greens, the oranges, etc. Have them sort of loosely pushed into those slots. Then on this next video you'll see me driving those cables home using the cable puncher and putting them into the appropriate slots.
Hold the camera with one hand and try and punch in with the other. But this is how you sit the tool into the top of the connection box, and then as you punch it down, I normally do it 2 or 3 times, as you punch it down you can see there's a pair of little scissors attached to the tool, and as you punch down it clips off the edge of the cable that you've just connected, and therefore makes a clean end to it. You don't have any loose cables hanging over the edge. So that's a good indication that you've actually punched it down, that your tool has made that cut in that cable.
So here we have all 8 cables that have all been punched into their respective slots, and the excess cable has been trimmed with those scissors. And that effectively is your completed network connection point. Now here I have 4 network points made off and inserted into the faceplate, and I'm just about to mount the faceplate to the wall back box. I've got 4 cables. 2 of the cables are coming from the house router. I've doubled up the cable in for resiliency, and then I've got 2 other cables that are going to another part of the garden room. The 2 cables in ports 1 and 2 are a CAT6 and a CAT5E, and then I've got another CAT6 and CAT5E going to a different part of the garden room. Now using a similar patch lead, I've now connected my router to my wall socket in the house and my wall socket to my laptop in the garden room, and I'll now perform a speed test for you. I've speeded this up just so you can get the gist of the download speeds, but as you can see I'm getting just under 60 megabits per second. This is on the CAT6 cable, and then on the second demo this will be done on the CAT5E cable. So as I mentioned earlier, there's no discernible difference between the CAT6 cable and the CAT5E cable for the purposes of what we need them for in the garden room. And in this third and final test, you can see I'm getting similar speeds to the previous ones. And this is in the other area of the garden room where I patched the cables through. I think the slight dip in speeds is the fact that somebody's using Netflix in the house. But effectively from here, in order to create your Wi-Fi in your garden room, you will then plug in an access point, a wireless access point at the end of that cable instead of where the laptop was connected to. Now, depending upon which access point you purchase, it will require probably a little bit of configuration to create a wireless network. The SSID, which is the name that you see when you browse Wi-Fi, you can either call that the same name as what you've got in the house, or you can call it a different name, for example garden room, and then you can browse for that SSID and have a good, strong Wi-Fi connection in your garden room when you want to use it. All that remains for me to say is thanks very much. This is my first type of instructional video like this, so I hope it's been of some use and I haven't waffled on too much. Thanks.